Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Hope you've all had a good week. Good to see that the weather is finally starting to pick up. I know it's still brass monkeys first thing in the morning, but as soon as the sun comes out, it's absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, that's definitely lifted the mood a bit. Good to be back with you guys. I'll start with straightening my bloody glasses up as I always do. Jason, good one. The April 1st joke. Bloody hell. You had me there for a few seconds. You really, really did. I thought, here we go. Here's the first fledgling flying the nest, starting out on his own. It's only a matter of time before the rest follow him. And then I saw the other bit and I thought, oh, you sod. Nice one. I think you got one or two with that one. Yeah, good. And look forward to next year's, whatever that's going to be. So we've had a few bits of sad news this week. People passing away. Obviously, the biggest one is Val Kilmer, which I'll be coming back to very shortly. We also lost Richard Chamberlain, aged, how old was he? 90? Either last week or the week before. I know Stuart's going to be gutted about that one. He's a big Richard Chamberlain fan. So, and I loved him in The Swarm. I even saw a couple of episodes of Dr. Kildare many, many years ago. Good actor, absolutely brilliant actor. But the one I think that got me the most was Bruce Glover. Now, for those of you that don't know who Bruce Glover is, he was one of the baddies in the Bond film Diamonds Are Forever, Mr. Wint. Do you remember? There were two of them. There were a couple, Mr. Wint and Mr. Kidd. Really, really good film. Absolutely loved it. And when I read that, first I saw the name Bruce Glover and it didn't ring any bells. And then I saw the picture and I thought, oh my God, Mr. Wint. So yeah, that was a sad one. But I mean, he must have been getting on. I'm not sure how old he was, but he must have been in his 40s when he did Diamonds Are Forever, and that was 71. So that's 50 years ago. So he must have been getting on a bit. But yeah, that was a bit of sad news for me, that one. So, and there's also, I'm going down my notes here in order, there's a series starting on Prime. I think it's already just started. I'm going to try the first episode and see how I get on with it, called The Bondsman, starring Kevin Bacon. It's to do with a guy who dies and is sent back from hell to vanquish demons. I mean, it sounds brilliant. It sounds very much Evil Deadish, that kind of thing. But with Kevin Bacon in it, you know you're getting something of quality. So I shall let you know how I get on with that. And the other bit of news is last night we decided to go for a new film, a horror film with the pizza. We decided to watch The Monkey. The Monkey is based on a short story by Stephen King, directed by Osgood Perkins. I didn't enjoy Longlegs very much, so having watched the trailer for The Monkey, I thought, well, this looks a bit more up my street. So we settled down to watch it. Now, I'd heard various reviews of this. I think Rob Gear, you told me it was seriously fucked up, which it was. Mark Kermode was on about the gore. He absolutely loved it, but he was on about the gore being way over the top. And which film was I watching? Because to me, yes, it was gory, but it was nothing special as such. I thought for a minute I was watching sort of a different print or a different cut of the film. I don't know. It was okay, but you know what? I wouldn't watch it again, and that really is my kind of film. It was really, really well done. Everybody did the best acting wise, and this, that, and the other. But it just didn't get me the way that I thought it was. I was there, cushion at the ready, hands at the ready, finger on the mute button in case it got too nasty, and it didn't. It really, really didn't. So I'm afraid The Monkey is the first film ever to get him. I was determined he was going to make an appearance this week. Not as such a shit film, but just it just wasn't for me. I think Rob was a bit underwhelmed with it as well. So as I say, I wouldn't watch it again, but it was an okay way to pass an hour and a half, I suppose, but just the once. So, right on to comments. David, I'll start with David. Morning, Dave. Awesome video as always. Cheers, mate. What are some of your favourite Robert De Niro films? Oh, God, that's a question. I've got a list here. Taxi Driver, obviously. To me, that's his masterpiece. I think that is absolutely brilliant. I never get bored of watching it, seen it countless times. it just gets more brilliant every time I watch it. Godfather 2, which I've only seen the once, but it was superb in that. The Deer Hunter, one of my all-time favourites, along with Christopher Walken, brilliant movie. Casino, which to me was the movie that proved that Sharon Stone could actually act, rather than what she did in Basic Instinct, which is all I'd seen her in up until that. And then I watched Casino and thought, my God, she is really, really good. And obviously De Niro was brilliant. Joe Pesci was as menacing as ever. Raging Bull, great boxing film. Some of the boxing scenes were a little painful to watch. I don't know whether they'd stand up that way now because the movie is like 45 years old, but I get the feeling it would still be powerful. I haven't seen it in many years. Midnight Run, one that's not talked about very often, starring Charles Grodin. Can't remember much about it. It was something to do with sort of a US Marshal escorting a prisoner across country for a trial or something like that. I can't actually remember, but I do remember enjoying it. I do remember there's a lot of swearing in it. Mean Streets, one of De Niro's first, absolutely brilliant. Once Upon a Time in America, overblown but absolutely brilliant gangster epic, set in the early days, the early 1900s in New York, the Bronx, absolutely brilliant. Angel Heart, that's another one that's not talked about very much. I believe he played. What did he play? I'm thinking of Mickey Rourke. But De Niro was in it and he played a major role in it. I do remember enjoying the film, but I've not seen it for a long time. And This Boy's Life with Leonardo DiCaprio and Ellen, was it Ellen Burstyn? Can't remember her name, but that was really good. So that's pretty much all of the De Niro films that I've either seen or enjoyed. So I hope that answers your question, mate. Thoughts on the passing of Val Kilmer and your favourite Doris Day films? Oh God, Doris Day. Val Kilmer, very, very sad news. I've not seen him in many films. I thought he was good in Top Gun, which I caught up with for the first time last year or the year before. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Followed that up with Top Gun Maverick, which I thought he was brilliant in. Apparently his voice was recreated with AI because he could pretty much not speak due to throat cancer and stuff like that. So that was quite sad. His biggest role for me would have been The Doors. I thought he was absolutely perfect as Jim Morrison. I do intend watching that again very, very shortly. I saw Top Secret many years ago, enjoyed it. There is one that I want to check out thanks to Dave Taylor, who I think he was either going to watch it or he recommended it. One called Thunderheart. I know nothing about that one, so I'm going to grab hold of it and I'm going to watch that one completely blind. Do you guys have any Val Kilmer recommendations for me? As I say, I've not seen many movies with him in, so it's a pretty open field on that one. So I'll leave that with you. You can drop any suggestions in the comments below. So Doris Day films, I love Doris Day films. They're a bit like the Cliff Richard films that I was talking about last week. They're just nice little Saturday afternoon comfort blanket type films. Some of my favourites include Calamity Jane, which is to me her best role. Young at Heart, which she made with Frank Sinatra, that was good. Pillow Talk, and all of the gentle comedies that she made with Rock Hudson. Teacher's Pet, that was with Clark Gable, that was a good one. And That Touch of Mink with Cary Grant. I mean, that was just a perfect pairing. I've seen all of those, but not for a long, long time. But I would love to catch up with them again. So I hope that answers your question, David. Thanks for the comment, mate. Always good to hear from you. Chris, morning, Chris. Thank you for being my early morning viewing after a night of baby waking, feeding and changing. You are more than welcome, sir. I'm trying to get a video done for you this week, but Lincoln is making it tough. They have a habit of doing that. So don't worry about it, mate. Whenever. I do have a question though. What are your favourite movies which centre around a baby? I do like all the ones that you mentioned a little bit later on in the comment, which I'll be reading out. But I'm going to go down the horror route. I enjoyed a movie called It's Alive, directed by Larry Cohen. Now, Larry Cohen was a similar director to Roger Corman. He made sort of exploitation movies, and some of them were really, really good. It's Alive, I thought, was brilliant. It was just as creepy as hell. Just about this mutant baby that is born to this couple, and this baby just goes on a killing spree, and it's the most horrendous looking thing. But that was made about 1974, but a really, really good film. Thoroughly enjoyed it. And the other one, there is only one, isn't there, as far as horror goes? And that's Rosemary's Baby with Mia Farrow. Um, just the most amazing movie, directed by Roman Polanski. Also stars the amazing Ruth Gordon, who I loved in Harold and Maude. So yeah, I would go down that route. It's Alive and Rosemary's Baby is definitely my all-time favourite. You said my number one would probably be Labyrinth. I completely forgot about that one. Others I'm a big fan of. Look Who's Talking and Look Who's Talking Too. God, I haven't seen them for years. That's John Travolta voicing one of them, isn't it? And isn't Bruce Willis one of them as well? John Travolta played the father. That's right. Three Men and a Baby. Loved it, absolutely loved it, but mainly due to the three leads, which was obviously Steve Guttenberg, Tom Selleck, and Ted Danson. Really, really good. I thought Three Men and a Little Lady was good. One which I have not yet seen properly but heard great things about is Raising Arizona, starring Nick Cage. That's another one that was out when I worked at the video store. I did see it, thoroughly enjoyed it, would love to watch it again because I've not watched it in, must be 40 years. So I'm going to stick that one on my watch list, and when you've watched it, I'd be very curious to know what you make of it. Once again, thanks for the vid. Watching Blurry Eyed helped me through a tough night of sleeplessness. You're more than welcome, Chris. Hopefully we'll hear from you next week. But honestly, I get all the baby thing, I really do. If they leave you no time for anything, they are literally a full-time job. So we totally get that. So we'll see you when we see you, mate. Right, Dave Taylor, morning, Dave. Jeff Goldblum. We were talking about Goldblum films a week or two back. I've seen about 6 of his movies, but only The Fly really sticks out. I've seen Silverado, but can't remember anything about it. God, The Fly was totally gross out, wasn't it? Really, really good. I mean, a typical David Cronenberg sort of body horror thing. But I still can't watch The Arm Break. But I've got to make a move on this kind of thing and just brave some of these scenes that I've been shying away from. As you know, I can't stand the sound of a bone breaking or watching somebody having their arm twisted around like that. I hate that. But I think it was Callie, you suggested, as far as the arm break scene in The Fly goes, watch the making of documentary, which is on the Blu-ray that I've got, and they show you how it's done. And once you know how it's done, it doesn't seem half as bad. So we shall see. As for Silverado, it's a Western and I've never seen it. The only thing I know about it really is that John Cleese makes an appearance in it. I believe I'm right. So I wouldn't mind a look at that, definitely. When I mentioned cartoons, I can't believe I missed out Huckleberry Hound, The Jetsons, The Flintstones and Hong Kong Phooey. 4 classics. I mean, there were hundreds, weren't they? In the 70s and the 60s, cartoons were just everywhere. And they were superb. They were all brilliant. Cher. We're talking about Cher's movies. Tea with Mussolini was worth a look, but not seen it for probably 30 years. I still have Moonstruck on VHS. Bloody hell. I must dig out some of my VHS tapes. I've got a sort of a plastic storage case with them in, but it's finding it. But I'm fairly sure that I've got some. I must have at least 5 or 6 famous-ish ones. So when I get a minute, I'll go up there and have a look. Mermaids. I've seen it just the once. Don't know what I thought of it. Would need to see it again. That's on my watch list. As I recall, Bob Hoskins was okay in it. Bob Hoskins is okay in everything. From Brief Encounter, we were talking about Brief Encounter, which is, as you said, a wartime classic. The buffet they were talking about restoring to the 1940s layout was obviously the platform tea room. I didn't think of that. Of course it was. Yeah, I would love to see that. That's a gorgeous museum, and I must watch those videos that Roy sent me. He kindly sent me some videos over that he took. I think it was in the David Lean Museum, and there was also something that he took on the set of Brief Encounter. So I need to take a look at both of those. Thanks for sending those over, Roy. Much appreciated. I completely forgot about them Dave just mentioned it there. So thanks for that, Dave. Good to hear from you as usual. Stuart, The Island is Roy's favourite movie. Really? Honestly? Is this going to become a regular feature now? You telling me that this movie is Roy's favourite, and me basically thinking, is he lying to me? Is he lying to me? The Island. Oh my God. I'll come back to that one in a bit because I've got something to show Ollie concerning that. So I'm going to take your word for that, and I'm assuming you mean the one that I'm thinking about, the Michael Caine movie from about 1980, based on a Peter Benchley book, which I'll be showing off a little bit later. I would like to see a biopic of The Who. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Keith Moon was a legend, big drinking buddy of Oliver Reed's. My God, can you imagine going on a bender with Oliver Reed and Keith Moon? You'd never get out alive, would you? God, there must be some stories on that. Somebody has got some stories to tell about that partnership, I'm sure of it. See you next week, Tony, mate. You certainly will, Stu. Director of the week. Let's mix it up a bit. I've gone this week for George Lucas. Obviously the director of Star Wars, many other classic movies. I've gone, I mean, you know that I love the Star Wars films, especially the original trilogy, so I didn't see the need to go down that route. So I've gone for American Graffiti. Now, I saw this a long time ago. I don't remember much about it, but I do remember being really bowled over by it. The soundtrack is excellent. You've got Harrison Ford in this. You've got Richard Dreyfuss in this, looking so young. Who else is in it? Ron Howard. It's a cracking movie. Think Happy Days, but a little bit more serious. Just brilliant. So, Director of the Week, George Lucas, and I've gone for one of my favourites, American Graffiti, which I need to take another look at some point. So that's Director of the Week for this week. Steve Mack. Money Steve. De Palma. For myself, personally, I like Sisters and The Untouchables. Connery got an Oscar for his role. You're not going to believe this, I've not seen either. Sisters, I know, is Margot Kidder, am I right? And The Untouchables is obviously Kevin Costner and the brilliant Sean Connery. And of course Robert De Niro, and I'm fairly sure that when I watch The Untouchables, or finally get round to watching it, I am fairly certain that it will make it onto my list of favourite De Niro films, which I've already read out. I can't believe I've never seen it, but this is an old story with me. You must be used to this by now. Will Smith, talking about Will Smith last week. The more recent Concussion and King Richard are worth a watch. I believe Jason recommended King Richard to me. Is this the one where he plays the father of the Williams sisters, the tennis duo? Concussion, I know nothing about, so I will be looking up that one. Kino tackled 3 great Eastwood movies on 4K. 2 Mules for Sister Sarah, The Eiger Sanction, and Play Misty for Me. The only one I've seen of those 3 is Play Misty for Me, but I've got a box set that's got 2 Mules for Sister Sarah and The Eiger Sanction in it. They are one of my favourite labels. They even released Best Defence. Does anyone remember that? I remember the VHS box. Was it Dudley Moore and Richard Pryor? I remember, was it Richard Pryor or was it Eddie Murphy? It's something to do with a tank, but I can't remember what. But yes, I do remember the box, definitely. Their recent Blu-ray releases include Arabesque, Play It Again Sam, and Hatari. I have lovely memories of Hatari. One Christmas, and this is going to sound so silly, one Christmas we used to go basically Christmas morning round all the relatives' houses, dropping presents off and this and the other. And my Auntie Hazel lived in Swad on what was at the time a new estate. And when we went in, Hatari was playing. And I've wanted to watch it ever since. We were only there for about probably 15-20 minutes, but I sat and watched it with her 2 lads, and it was just brilliant. And every time I see a clip from Hatari, it always seems to be that particular clip, which is where they're trying to snag a rhino from the back of a sort of a truck, a van. So I need to get a copy of Hatari, absolutely, because I would love to watch that just to bring the memories flooding back of that particular Christmas. I believe it would have been about 1976, and I'm fairly sure it was 1976. So yeah, I need to get a copy of that. So thanks for that, Steve. Much appreciated. Um, Roy, morning, Roy. Morning, Tony. How are you doing, me old mucker? I'm fine, thank you. Absolutely fine. Now the sun's out, I'm a lot better. The Spirit of St. Louis is so good. And another Billy Wilder film. I didn't realise this. As soon as I'd read that comment, I went straight onto the IMDb, and sure enough, Billy Wilder. We haven't even had a DVD release in this country. Absolutely criminal. And this movie is supposed to be a classic. One or two people at work have recommended this to me. So I do definitely want to watch it. But the only way I can go with that one is down the download route. If there's no available, I mean, it won't be streaming, surely. And if there's no DVD or Blu-ray release, apart from in the US, that's of absolutely no use. So, but I do want to see it, absolutely. Alexander Payne, check out Sideways and Nebraska, both excellent. I know of Sideways, this is something to do with wine, but I'm not sure what. Nebraska I've never heard of, but I will definitely be looking up and adding that to my watch list for sure. If I could choose a musical biopic to be made, it would definitely be about Sam Glendenning, as I love an empty cinema. Oh my God, that's fighting talk. Sam, have you got any comments on that? I'd be curious to know what you make of that one. I don't even know what to say to that. Was that the dog or Rob I could hear snoring throughout the video? It would have been the dog. She usually lies just to the side of me here on the chair, and she does fall asleep. It's probably my sort of lullaby tones that make her nod off, I don't know. But it was definitely the dog, it wasn't Rob. Oh, God. Right, last week you asked me, Charade is my favourite Audrey film. Great thriller, action, adventure. I have one of hers I haven't got to yet, Two for the Road. Any idea? I've managed to get hold of a copy, and I will let you know as soon as I've watched it. I've watched a couple of little excerpts just to make sure, it was okay, and it looks intriguing. It is definitely one that I would enjoy watching. I'm fairly sure of it. So leave that with me, Roy. As soon as I get a chance to watch that, I will be doing. Ollie, morning Ollie. Good morning Tony. Hope you are well. You were certainly missed last weekend. Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you. Much appreciated. I missed doing it. I really, really did. And by the way, I watched your weekly watches. Was it yesterday? And you were talking about you weren't sure when you were going to be doing your next video, whether it was going to be sort of next weekend or the weekend or whatever. And you were basically saying that there are some times when you just come home from work and you just want to chill. Honestly, mate, I totally get it. And everybody that does these videos will understand that occasionally you just got no spark in you to do it. And I do honestly get it. It's nothing to do with the subscribers or the comments or anything like that. You just sometimes get the urge to do absolutely nothing. And it does occasionally get the better of me. But do you know what? As soon as I read the comments on the previous video, it brings me back to reality, and it's like, do you know what? These people enjoy what you do. They really do. And that's what keeps me going with it. As I've always said, if it wasn't for the subscribers like yourself, I wouldn't even be doing this. There'd be no need to do it. But you guys have become like friends. You're like family now. And as I've always said, I'm not bothered about having hundreds and thousands of subscribers. I'm really, really not bothered about any of that. All I want is I don't even want to call it fan base. What would you call it? Subscriber base. A nice low number. I know you people are watching, and I know you guys are enjoying it, and that's really, really all I want. Every now and then I get sort of a new subscriber. I think the last one would have been Simon. He started commenting on the videos, so I think he's been sort of snagged in. So, as I say, it's good to have these people aboard, and it really, really is. And I say that there's no reason to do this if it wasn't for you guys. But honestly, Ollie, I totally get it. I totally, totally get it. There are some Sunday mornings I get up and I just think, oh, I really, really don't want to do this. And then I bring the notes up and I look at all the lovely comments that you've left, and you go to so much trouble to write these things out, that it's like, of course you want to do it. Why wouldn't you want to do it? Pull yourself together, man. What's the matter with you? So yeah, totally get that, Ollie. I've been watching a fair few coming of age films over the last few weeks, including The Spectacular Now, Me and Earl and the Dying Girl. Oh my God. And How to Build a Girl, which is a fairly new one set in Wolverhampton in the 90s, following a young girl who wants to be a music journalist. I remember reading about this probably about 3-4 years ago, and I meant to watch it and never got round to it. Really good watch, and stars Paddy Considine, who I am a big fan of. Do you have any favourite coming of age comedies, and do you have a favourite underrated Paddy Considine film? I'll have to think about the Paddy Considine film. The only one I can think of off the top of my head is Dead Man's Shoes, but pretty much everybody I know has either seen that or heard of it, so I wouldn't really class it as underrated. But coming of age comedies, um, Gregory's Girl. I never ever get bored of Gregory's Girl. It is a charming little Scottish film directed by Bill Forsyth. Stars John Gordon Sinclair, Dee Hepburn, and also Claire Grogan, who formed Altered Images in the early 80s, which I believe was after Gregory's Girl. But if you've not seen it, it is a charming film. If you haven't seen it, please get hold of a copy and let me know what you think. I would love to know what you think of that one. I enjoyed Risky Business with Tom Cruise. That was a good one. His parents go on holiday and he basically turns the parents' house into a brothel for a night, which is a business idea for a school project. I thought it was absolutely brilliant. Loved it. The Outsiders, which is one of the first movies to feature the male Brat Pack. You've got Patrick Swayze in there, Rob Lowe, C. Thomas Howell, loads of faces. Francis Ford Coppola, I believe. That was a good one. A movie I watched, a French movie called Close, not a comedy, but just so tragic. American Pie 2, my favourite of the American Pie movies. I thought the first one was okay. The Wedding I didn't like very much. The Reunion was okay, but for me, American Pie 2 is the one that I watch more often than the others. Two movies, not comedies, but coming of age dramas. Beautiful Thing, which is a British movie. Beach Rats with Harris Dickinson, that was a good one. A classic, Wish You Were Here, starring Emily Bronte. 4, 3, 2, 1. Emily Lloyd is what I was trying to say. Absolutely brilliant. Early Channel 4 movie from about 1984 or 5, I believe. It could be sooner than that. But that was good. The Wanderers. Absolutely brilliant soundtrack, all to do with gangs in New York during the 60s. That was good. And one called The Kings of Summer, which I saw the trailer to just recently. I thought, I must take a look at that. So I get the feeling that's going to be part of the list if I'd actually watched it. So I hope that helps you out, mate. I'll think about the Paddy Considine one. Went to some charity shops yesterday and came back with 28 titles. Fucking hell, guys. And you think I'm bad? I've actually cut my buying down quite a bit. 28. Bloody hell, you must have needed 2 carrier bags for those. Stay tuned for a huge pickups video very soon. Huge. Humongous. Hope you have a fantastic weekend and talk to you same time next week. All the best, Ollie. Much appreciated, mate. Always brilliant to hear from you. And looking forward to your next video, which I usually watch Sunday afternoon after my nap. At the same time as I watch Higgis, but I've already conquered that one yesterday. So I shall watch yours. I shall try and watch one of Stuart's and one of Roy's, and also one of Sam's, which I really, really need to catch up with. Let's see what we're on, 28. I might just get this one done. Simon Robson, morning, Si. With the mention of seeing older movies that you missed first time round, I'm lucky where I live in North Tyneside. I have 2 independent cinemas that are constantly putting on old movies. I envy you so much with this. I know before you all start screaming, oh, don't go to the cinema anyway. But if I did, that is the kind of place that I would love to watch them. For example, I went to see Tenebrae last week, which was brilliant on the big screen. Is that Dario Argento? I believe I've got that on Blu-ray. I'm fairly sure I've got that one. Recently I've watched The Godfather, The Good, the Bad and the Ugly, and The Apartment, which I went to see with Sammy G. The one film that I need to see at the cinema is my second favourite film of all time, The Sting. What a movie. Robert Redford and Paul Newman in the best con artist movie you will ever see in your life. It is just brilliant. Robert Shaw is in it as the baddie. Oh my God, what a movie. It's one that I need to watch again even though I've seen it, it's got to be 20 or 30 times in my life. So it's just superb, and I never get bored of it. One I wouldn't mind checking out again is The Sting 2. I know it's not particularly brilliant, but I haven't seen it for many years, and I would just love to take a look at it just to see if it's as dire as it was the first time out. But we shall see on that one. Sammy and myself are very lucky to have two local great independent cinemas. You certainly are. We've got one called The Red Carpet in a place called Barton under Newood. It's next to a boat marina. And they screen the occasional classic movie and the occasional independent movie. And I keep meaning to take a trip there. It's just, I don't know, complete apathy. That's all I can put it down to. So, right, I'm going to take a quick break. Thanks for that, Si. Much appreciated, mate. Always brilliant to hear from you. I'm going to take a quick break, and then we're on to Sam's comment. I'll be back in a sec. And we're back. Right, before I move on to the lovely Sam and his comments, I've got a quick one here for Ollie. Remember last week you were talking about watching The Island, and I confused it with another movie. This is the movie that I thought you were referring to. As I said earlier, this is based on, I believe, a Peter Benchley novel, the author of Jaws and the Deep. It's a violent affair, stars Michael Caine as a reporter investigating the disappearance of ships and boats off the coast of Bermuda, I believe. And he goes to investigate it with his son and gets caught up in the most unbelievable scenario. It didn't go down well with critics at the time, I don't think, but these things never do. They're not made for critics, they're made for the general public, and I quite enjoyed this. And this, I think, is the one that Stuart was referring to, the fact that this is one of Roy's favourite movies. I don't know, but this is the one that I thought that you were referring to, and if you've not already got this or watched it, I'd definitely recommend it, at least for a once-only viewing, but I thought it was really, really good. This is still in the cellophane, I need to rewatch that, so that's that one. Right, Sam. Great video as ever, Tony. Cheers, mate. I'd definitely love to take a look at Amazon Women on the Moon at some point. It's really, really good. If you like American sketch comedy, this is superb, and I would definitely recommend that you take a look at a movie, I think I said this last week, called Kentucky Fried Movie from 1977, which is the one that started it all. There are some absolutely brilliant sketches in there. It is un-PC as hell. The Woke Brigade would absolutely hate it. Another good reason just to have a good look at it. But yeah, I'd recommend that one. If you like Amazon Women on the Moon, I think Kentucky Fried Movie, you'll get a kick out of at least half a dozen of the sketches in there. I still love it now. I picked up Basketball, The Alligator People, and The Land Unknown in the 101 sale. Have you seen these, bud? I've not seen any of them. I need to go back onto 101's site and have a look whether that sale is now up and running. There was nothing on that page when I looked. I think it was last week, but there's a very good possibility that it's now that it's now up. So I'll have a look in a bit, and I wouldn't mind The Alligator People. I've seen clips of that and it looks amazing. And The Land Unknown looks to me like a kind of a Jurassic World type thing. So that's another one that I wouldn't mind taking a look at. Not heard of Basketball, so I can't comment on that one. I haven't seen Earthquake or The Towering Inferno. I can imagine both these movies make for a great double feature. What are your thoughts on the Poseidon Adventure? I haven't got any yet because I've not watched it. I got it on Blu-ray probably a couple of weeks back, along with The Towering Inferno, but I've not had a chance to take a look yet. So I'll be adding it to the watch list at some point because a lot of people have talked to me about that one. So it's one that I need to take in. Tony, I went to go see Black Bag and thought it was a very solid spy thriller. Very interesting premise with a great cast. Have you got any favourite spy thrillers, and what are your thoughts on them doing a 4K Sean Connery 4, 3, 2, fucking 1. What are your thoughts on them doing a 4K Sean Connery collection set, the Bond movies? I'll start with that. Chris, I think you said you'd definitely be investing in that if they were uncut, and I would go along with that. I would need to go onto the BBFC site after the release to see whether they felt the need to cut anything out of it. I grow tired of talking about this, but why on earth do they need to cut anything out of it? They are a product of their time. They are of their time. We're not saying that that kind of behaviour is acceptable now, either in movies or especially not in real life, but that is how it was. And to cut things out of movies like that, and I can think of at least one or two moments when Bond was a little bit on the rapey side. But I'm not saying, oh God. Let's see, shall we? I would love to get them, but I'm only going to get them if I find out that they are completely uncut. It was the same with Soldier Blue. When I bought that, I was all up for getting the 4K steelbook, which I did get, but I went onto various sites and eventually got the answer that I wanted on Facebook. Basically, somebody had said the only thing that they'd cut out of Soldier Blue was the horse falls, probably two of them, which are cruel to watch anyway. I wouldn't want to watch those, but everything else was pretty much completely intact, which is why I bought it. And I would say the same about this, only if it's uncut. As for spy thrillers, I like the Harry Palmer trilogy. That would be the Ipcress File, Billion Dollar Brain and Funeral in Berlin. They were good. The Spy Who Came In From the Cold with Richard Burton. Good. Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy is confusing as hell, but really entertaining. The movie was okay. I did watch a few episodes of the original series with Alec Guinness, but it completely confused me. And as for the follow-up, there was another one, wasn't there? Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. What was the other one? I can't remember. Smiley's People. That's right. And that was even worse. So, yeah, I do like spy thrillers, but I do find them a little bit confusing. Classic spy thrillers that I know for a fact I enjoy, from Russia with Love for one. The Bond movie, absolutely loved it. And the 39 Steps, which I thoroughly enjoyed. I've seen two versions, the Hitchcock version and the Robert Powell version from 78. I've just got hold of the Kenneth More version from 59. I'll be taking a look at that, but I love the 39 Steps, so hope that answers your question, mate. I've been watching a lot of American comedy films at the minute, bud. Seen the original American Pie, but not the sequels. Watched Something About Mary, Dodgeball and Wedding Crashers for the first time and really enjoyed them. What are some of your favourite American comedy films, comedy movies and sitcoms? I'm going to do this next week because I've got quite a few DVDs and Blu-rays upstairs of American comedy movies and American sitcoms, which I adore. So I'm going to do the top 10 of American comedy films and the top 10 of American sitcoms next week. So leave that with me. That's on the cards for the next 7 days. Let's see. Arrow are off to a flying start this year. Great news with Witness, Taking of Pelham 123, Roadhouse, etc. Do you plan on getting any of their upcoming releases, bud? Can't wait for the Dollars trilogy. I believe A Fistful of Dollars has had a delay put on it until May. They're basically saying that they want to offer the best possible print and package of this movie, and it's going to take another month, which I'm assuming means that the other two will also be shoved forward a month. So yes, I'm definitely looking forward to getting those. Witness, Taking of Pelham 123 and Roadhouse. I would love a copy of Roadhouse. Also Taking of Pelham 123 I've seen once and thoroughly enjoyed. Witness is just a classic. So yeah, I would probably, I will end up waiting for them to hit the sales bins or something, but I almost certainly will be grabbing those. Hope all is well, Tony, mate, and bring on next Saturday's blog, the best Saturday mornings and great way to kickstart the day. And that is exactly what I meant earlier when I said about reading people's comments and basically they pulling you back into reality. So there you go, Ollie. That definitely answers your question. Thanks for that, Sam. Very, very much appreciated, mate. I'm not going to comment from Mark this week because he was on his way to a match yesterday, so he was going to be watching the video this morning, but it all depends on how he feels. So I'm guessing that's the story. So we'll no doubt hear from Mark at some point next week. The same with JK, our Ginger Ninja. He's not commented this week, but he's had a lot coming on. let's see. I'm going to come back to this one next week. This is a question that he posed me a couple of weeks back, and I finally come up with some answers. Which movies would you like to see remade if the whole woke movement no longer existed and the filmmakers had a totally free rein to do and say whatever they like, as it used to be? I've come up with some answers, but they might take a little bit of getting through, so I'm going to come back on that next week because I definitely want to bring this in at under an hour today if I can do it. But leave that with me. I've now got some answers on that one for you. I'll give you the first one just as a taster. Life of Brian. Basically, just to piss the church off, as it did the first time round. My God, the fuss they made about that was just unbelievable. Discussions on chat shows between John Cleese and Michael Palin and I think it was the Bishop of somewhere or other. Oh my God. Yeah, so The Life of Brian would definitely be the first one, but I'll come back on that one next week, Jay. Let's see, Guy, morning, Guy. Basking in the warming glow of Tony time. Thank you, mate, much appreciated. Stop apologising! Exclamation mark. We're all grown-ups. We get it. Life gets funny at times. Don't worry about it. I won't apologise again. I promise. I probably will, but it'll be a little more light-hearted than it probably was last week. But yeah, as I said earlier, occasionally you just want to take a week off. You just fancy doing nothing. This is basically what I was saying to Wally earlier on. So yeah, I will no longer be apologising, I promise. Like our Callista, I shall hold off on my cinema films I missed until Higgis. I look forward to that episode because I'm looking forward to finding out which movies you're going to come up with that. Running Man remake, I did not know about it. Bet it'll be shit, and yes, it was a Stephen King book written under his Richard Bachman pseudonym. Or as you put it here, pussied on him. Maybe I've tried to rewrite that and spells it wrong. Pussied on him. Oh, childish, I know. Yes, I know something about this. I need to read up on it and come back next week with some information. But I've definitely heard of it. It's definitely in the works. I'm sure of it. Music biopics I'd like to be made. Stevie Ray Vaughan. I'm not familiar with him at all. Lemmy. Oh God, that'd be yeah. Rolling Stones and of course Bowie. They'd all be brilliant. The TV series of Hannibal is fantastic. I do need to start that one. I did watch the first episode and it confused me a little bit, but I do believe I put it on quite late at night and I was half asleep at the time, so I do need to have another look at that. Shame Rob didn't like Duel, but you can't win everyone over, A. He just wasn't keen. I could tell as soon as the criticism started coming and I thought, you're not enjoying this, and if he don't enjoy it, I don't enjoy it. So, like you say, you can't win them all. We didn't do much better last night, as you know, with the monkey. So I think we're going to go back to something a little gentler for next week. We'll try something a bit different. See you next Saturday. Yes, you certainly will, Guy. Much appreciated, mate. Callie, Saturday morning as it should be. Tony time with the brew. A list of films I missed at the cinema because I was too young. If I sat here and typed it out, I'd be here all day. But I'll give it a think and mention it on this week's episode of Hun Your Geek is showing. Look forward to that. Wait, there's a Running Man remake happening? Why? Just why? But while we're on the subject, the new Naked Gun trailer just dropped. I have to say it looks pretty good and worth a watch from what I've seen. I watched that trailer and it does look amazing. First time I heard about it, I thought Liam Neeson was going to be playing Leslie Nielsen's character, but he's not. He's playing his son, which actually makes it better. So yes, I'm looking forward to seeing that. First I'm a cow and now I'm a bitch. Sounds like an upgrade to me. I'm going to stop with all this name calling because it's really not nice, is it? I know you take it as a joke, but it's really not the best. Even if some of it is true. Oh, sorry. One Russ Meyer film you might want to get is Faster Pussycat Kill Kill. Most consider it as his first film. I could probably get that on DVD. I could certainly download it, but they're basically in the throes at the moment of releasing his movies on 4K and Blu-ray. So I'm tempted to hang on a few months because I'm fairly sure if I buy an overpriced DVD of it, Within a couple of months, the Blu-ray is going to appear, and it is one of the Russ Meyer films that I've definitely heard of, and I've heard good things about it. So yes, I would definitely take a look at that. And as soon as I see it on pre-order on Amazon, I will definitely hit that buy it now button. Only a short comment this week, as I'm busy putting together this week's episode of Higgis, which has a shocking twist in store for our viewers. I can't wait. As always, great episode. See you on the next one, Hon. Much appreciated, Callie. Right, we were talking about soundtracks on Higgis. Was it last week or the week before? I will show you a handful of soundtracks here. I will only rattle through these quite quick. As I say, I want to get this through in under an hour. But these are soundtracks that I do enjoy. Hello Dolly, Barbra Streisand, Michael Crawford, Walter Matthau. This was in the car for ages and it played over and over again. I absolutely love the soundtrack. Not seen the film. Can't wait to watch the film now I know all the songs. A touch of class. The music in this evokes 60s London, late 60s, early 70s London. The film is just brilliant. The music is amazing. I love that soundtrack. South Pacific. How could you possibly go wrong? Rodgers and Hammerstein. As I've said before, this was the first film that my dad took my mum to see at, I don't even know what cinema it would have been. It wouldn't have been the Odeon because it wouldn't have been about back then. It would have been the Gaumont or something like that. But this was their first date movie, and I've always had a fondness for the movie and the soundtrack. Chaplin, again, evokes the time. Just a cracking John Barry soundtrack. The movie was brilliant. That was obviously Robert Downey Jr. playing Charlie Chaplin. Breaking Glass, Hazel O'Connor, absolutely superb. Saw this at Burton Odeon 1980ish when it came out. Loved it ever since. Loved the movie. Some great tracks on that. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Not the Timothée Chalamet version, not the Johnny Depp version, the original and the best with the wonderful Gene Wilder. And that classic track, what's it called? Pure Imagination. Beautiful. Slade in Flame, cracking soundtrack to what Mark Kermode called the Citizen Kane of pop music movies. This is getting a Blu-ray release within the next 6 or 7 weeks. Can't wait to see what it looks like on Blu-ray. This is a cracking soundtrack, and in this you also get the movie on DVD, which I shan't be parting with because this is worth an absolute fortune now. Harold and Maude, a beautiful Cat Stevens soundtrack. This is a movie that I want to introduce Rob to very badly. In fact, this may be next week's film. I'd be curious to see what he makes of this. Bud Cort and the amazing Ruth Gordon, superb. Barbarella, the trippiest 60ish soundtrack you will ever hear. The movie is amazing. Never get bored of it. Always seem to watch it on a Saturday night for some reason. But yeah, cracking. And finally, A Clockwork Orange. Just brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And the soundtrack is superb as well. So that's all the movie ones I've got. And I've got a handful here of TV soundtracks. Magpie. Not just Magpie. You've got the theme to Ace of Wands on here. There's all sorts. Whatever Happened to the Likely Lads. Let's see. Tarot. Ace of Wands. There's all sorts on this. Just 60s and 70s heaven. Same with this one. This is Cult Fiction. You've got the themes from Quadrophenia, Top of the Pops, Train Spotting, Easy Rider, Colour of Money, Platoon, soundtrack heaven. This one, you'll love this one, Guy, because you love the theme from The Professionals, the wonderful Laurie Johnson, the music of Laurie Johnson, 50 Years Of, and you've got the original soundtracks from The Avengers, The Professionals, let's see, Tiger Bay, which was a movie, Doctor Strangelove. There's all sorts on there. And finally, this one. I love this box set. I don't think I've ever played it, but this is basically the music from all of the Irwin Allen series, The Time Tunnel, Lost in Space, Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea, Land of the Giants. It's called The Fantasy Worlds of Irwin Allen, which I believe I've got a DVD with the same title, but they're all in there. Look, So that's a good collection of TV soundtracks. Let's see. Higgish, you did a geeky chat. I really enjoyed that one. I also got bored with The Walking Dead, by the way. I believe JK was talking about this. I think we got to about season 6-ish, and it was just, oh, do you know what? Yes, it's gory, and yes, it's good, but it's just getting boring now. So we kind of abandoned it. I do need to watch Stranger Things from the beginning again. I can't remember much of what happened because it must be a year or two since I first watched it, so I do need to take that one in again. Let's see. I didn't bother with the RoboCop remake. I thought it might be kind of watered down due to the certificate that it got. As soon as I saw it was either I think it was a PG or a 12, I thought that's not going to be raw at all. But I need to take it in at some point just to see whether I'm right. And as for the I Spit on Your Grave trilogy, I don't think I'll be watching the final two. I think you've watched them and they were pretty horrible. They're just not my kind of film anymore, and they really ain't. Probably about 30 years ago I'd have had a look, but love those Star Trek figures, right, by the way. And Guy, I see what you mean about the one with Sulu. It is so sweet with his little cup of tea. Absolutely love it. Biker Mice from Mars. What the actual fuck is that? I've never heard of it. I'm crooked again. I keep slipping. My head. Must be a funny shape. Biker Mice from Mars. I mean, I really do need to look into that one. As soon as you mentioned that, I thought, did I hear that right? And I went back and it's like, fuck's sake, what is that? And that Jaws game, I would love that, but I would also love the original. So I'm going to be going onto eBay at some point and seeing whether I can get one of those. I used to have it years and years ago and absolutely loved playing it. Very similar thing to Buckaroo, wasn't it, if I remember right? And also those Quinton Hooper figures from Jaws. Definitely wouldn't mind those. Terrifier figures, no thanks. The Beetlejuice figures look cool though. Not really something I'd buy for myself. The overlaying of photos. Now, you talked about this once before, and you may have told me the answers to this. So if I've asked you this before, and I've asked more than once, please forgive me. Does it take long to overlay stills that you were doing of the figures and stuff like that? And also, what software do you use to do that? And Guy, you were on about Squid Game season 3. You love it. I only get 2 episodes into the original Squid Games. I've done it twice now, and I've never progressed with it. So perhaps I need to go with that one and see. So thanks for that, Callie. Much appreciated. Looking forward to the next episode of Higgis to find out what this twist is. Jason P, morning Jay, great vid as always, cheers mate. Red Carpet Cinema do show the obscure movies too. In fact, that was the intention when they opened, but they do also show the blockbuster movies. Caroline said, I do try to keep my eye on the red carpet and what is showing. While they do show quite a lot of live West End shows, which is fab, I'm looking to book 6, oh blimey, they don't seem to go down the classic film route. Like you said, I'm sure that was their intention when they opened. Hoping to see Jaws for the 50th anniversary. Tony will have to have a cinema reunion for this. Jason Newport, I do think you both should both have a cinema reunion, and what a movie to do it to as well. Absolutely right. I'll give it some thought, Caroline. I'm not saying no to that one. Jaws will be back on the big screen for its 50th anniversary. It's going to look awesome because they'll have remastered it and all sorts. My favourite Will Smith movie is Enemy of the State. Don't judge him on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, for fuck's sake. I never saw a single episode, but still love his movies. I'll give him a chance, and I'll let you know what I think. Mermaids is on Prime. Yes, because I put that on my watch list. March, April watch list. March is gone now, so I'm guessing it's April, May's watch list. No, bloody well isn't. Have faith, boy, have faith. Ignore Mark's review of Robin Hood. This is the same guy who didn't like Planet of the Apes from 1968, so what does he know? Fighting talk, Mark, you've got to come back on that one. Saga and healthy living. Fucking hell, did you pinch Doris's shopping bag as she walked from the car? Do you know what? I was just basically trying to make a point that all these women's magazines, men have these health problems as well. I actually went to buy a book written by a woman on Amazon, I can't remember what it was called now, but it was basically to do with sort of growing old gracefully and wellness and basically nutrition and exercise and stuff like that. And all the reviews said basically that it's aimed specifically at women. And it's like, well, that's no fucking good to me then, is it? And that's what pisses me off. All of these magazines with, some cracking health tips and stuff like that, they're all aimed at women. The only one I've seen to do, that's aimed at men is Men's Health. And that's basically aimed at gym bunnies who love going to the gym every day and, drinking shakes and stuff like that. That's no fucking good to me. I just want a magazine for older gentlemen who want to keep fit and healthy. That's all I want. Is that asking too much? Which is why I tend to buy these women's magazines. 4, 3, 2, 1, calm. Toodle pip, same time next week. Yeah, absolutely, mate. Never seen it for this week. Double bill this week. Conan the Barbarian. A powerful warrior seeks to avenge the genocide of his people and the murder of his parents at the hands of a snake cult. Verdict. Better than I thought it would be, as I'm not into this sorcery bollocks. Neither am I, to be fair. But I have got both of these movies, including the other half of that double bill. So I will take a look. Conan the Destroyer from 1984. Synopsis. Conan leads a ragtag group of adventurers on a quest for a princess. This was shit. Don't think I'll be bothering with that one then. David Mansell, you replied, Conan the Destroyer is famous for the Grace Jones scene. Now, Rob would probably enjoy that because he loves Grace Jones, anything. Mark, you commented, never seen, but both I definitely consider. So, I will definitely watch them at some point. I've got them on Blu-ray, so it'd be silly not to. Right, I've got a couple of bits to show off here very quickly, and then I am out of here. I'll start with the books, I always do. First one, we'll start with the magazine first. Latest issue of Intermission, Talking Pictures TV's official magazine. This is good coffee break material. Love reading this. Articles on Billy Fury, Susan Hampshire, and there'll be all sorts of other bits in there as well. So looking forward to having a read of that. The Golden Age of Children's TV. I saw this on Amazon and couldn't hit the buy it now button quick enough. I didn't realise at the time there are absolutely no illustrations in it, but it will still be a good read. You're basically looking at series like Bagpuss, Thunderbirds, Animal Magic, Tiswas, Hector's House, Crackerjack, Clangers. They're all written around the outside of the book. Ivor the Engine, Grange Magpie, Mr. Ben, Captain Scarlet, Captain Pugwash. Basically all the shows I grew up with. So I will be having a read of that. Just shame there's no pictures in it. And another book to add to the collection, basically of sort of cinema-based books. Odeon. This is another history of the Odeon. Burton is not mentioned in this one either. This is an ex-library book. I love ex-library books. The last time this was taken out, according to this, 20th of May 2008, which is basically why they got rid of it by the looks of it, but it's absolutely full of illustrations of old cinemas. Just not Burton. I don't know why. I think Burton was under a different name back then, which is probably why it wasn't actually classed as an Odeon at the time. Sorry, I completely lost the thread there. The little bookmark just dropped out as well. I've got a CD here. Suddenly realised I've not got a Bond compilation. So there you go. The Best of Bond, the deluxe edition. So you've got all the regular sort of title themes on one CD and incidental music and stuff like that. Pretty much all by John Barry on the other CD. So that is going in the car this afternoon for early morning listening. And this one was recommended to me as a Blu-ray by Chris Hukin. You watched this and I think you were quite impressed with the 4K of it. And I thought, do you know what? I've never seen a movie based on that series. So I thought I'd go for this one. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's the Michael Bay movie, which is, it looks absolutely brilliant. I watched the trailer and it looks bloody awesome. So I will be taking that one in at some point, but this is a recommendation from Chris, so I will be reviewing, but talking about it as soon as I've watched it. But I get the feeling I'm going to quite enjoy that as a bit of sort of pointless nonsense. We'll see how we go. we're done, and we're on under an hour, or just under an hour. So, right, thanks ever so much for joining me, guys. It's been a pleasure, as always. As I always say every week, thank you very much from the bottom of my heart for all your support of not only the channel, but me personally. It's very, very much appreciated and never, ever taken for granted. Have a brilliant week, guys, and I'll be back with you at the same time next week with more of the same. Take care. Ta-ra.